Perhaps you?
Yo.
What's up?
What's up, man? Welcome, everybody, to the Morbid Hour. Sean's running a little bit late, so we'll just wait for him for a few minutes.
Speaking, have you seen Alien Romulus yet?
I have not.
Me either.
I still haven't seen Alien Covenant, so I'm really behind.
I watched Covenant since it came out, so I don't even remember it.
Yeah. 1-2 is in the chat. How's it going, 1-2?
What's up?
That's right. Go talk about Megadeth.
Yeah.
David McDonald's in the chat. How's it going, David?
What's up?
Yeah, Leatherface is awesome. Lee Brown is in the chat. How's it going, Lee?
What's up? How's it going?
Very cool. Good to hear. Thanks for your support. There he is.
Hey. Sorry, I'm a little late.
It's all right. I got a little bit of a late start, too. My laptop was giving me problems, so it took me a little bit to get it to work.
You hear me all right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Whew.
Oh, yeah.
What's going on, bro?
Ready for a great show?
Hell yeah.
Gotta count down our top 10 favorite horror villains. Our top 5 Megadeth albums.
Hell yeah. It's gonna be wild.
Oh yeah.
Indeed.
It was not easy in the slightest to pick.
Yeah, it's hard to narrow it down to 10.
Good, that's when it's fun, you know?
Absolutely.
Digging the like Andy Warhol style Michael there.
Nice.
Definitely cool.
My Universal Monster shirt.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Love that.
Thank you, Lee. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a lot of great ones.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Dan and Horror's in the chat. How's it going, Mr. Dan?
What's up?
Well, our chat is pretty active today so far.
Yeah, nice.
Cool.
Everybody wants to know our picks.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a very good, very interesting show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Should I go ahead and start us off so we can do our clockwise thing?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty. So my number 10 choice is going to be Frankenstein's Monster, specifically the version from the Universal Classics beginning in 1931. It's kind of debatable whether or not he's a villain because he's kind of more – he's a little sympathetic. He's kind of more like a just a misunderstood creature with the mind of a child, but he does kill people, like intentionally, Usually he's provoked or something, but especially in in some of the other movies in the series. I mean, he absolutely is, a killing machine. So, maybe if he had been treated a little better, maybe it could have been avoided. But I'd say he definitely counts as a villain, even though sometimes he's portrayed as a little more sympathetic, like I said. But yeah, I love the way Boris Karloff plays him, especially in the first three entries in the series. This one and Bride of Frankenstein and Son of Frankenstein. Those are my favorite versions of this character. And this was one of the first horror movies I ever saw. So it all started here for me, and I was immediately hooked. So, this movie and some of the other classic Universal black and white monster movies were where it all started. And they're still some of my favorites. And yeah, he's a great character. Very, very different from the Mary Shelley novel in which it's based. Very, very different. But as far as movies go, I really like this version of the Frankenstein monster the best. So,
Yeah.
my number 10. Frankenstein's monster.
Maybe if they didn't throw fire in his face,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, with the little
Piss him
girl.
off.
Yeah, and then with the little girl, he just wanted to see if she would float in the water. He didn't mean for her to drown.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he didn't mean to.
But at the beginning of Bride of Frankenstein, he definitely killed that couple, intentionally. So he was pissed off because they tried to burn him alive. So all they wanted was a friend. So
Yeah.
even his own mate that they created rejected him. So
Poor guy.
I know. He's forced to be a monster out of necessity.
Yeah. It's a great choice, though.
Thank you.
All right. So, is it my turn since we're doing it this way?
Yes, indeed.
All right. Everyone in the chat and watching later, keep in mind a good majority of these they're in no particular order. They're in my top 10. So there you go. But coming up first for me is going to be Dracula. Classic.
Nice.
Now, for me, my preference is the Christopher Lee version. No doubt, Bela Lugosi is iconic, but I prefer Christopher Lee, and yeah, he delivered so many great performances as the character. The character himself, very mysterious, very proper, and very inviting. I just love the gothic tone and look of the film, and just everything about the character is just what classic horror villain. He's mysterious. He's very he can lead you into the trap. So yeah, Christopher Lee, fantastic as the character, and just an excellent film as well. Dracula.
Love it.
Oh yeah, great choice.
Thank you.
Hey, Cheetah.
Have Cheetah will view is in the chat.
Ooh.
Mr. Dan. Yeah, that's an awesome choice, man. Love it.
Yeah, definitely.
I like that you specify Christopher Lee, too, the Christopher Lee version.
Yeah, the Hammer films are great.
My number 10 is going to be Pinhead. Doug Bradley's Pinhead.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love Hellraiser is one of the most original horror films of all time, in my opinion. And man, what a great character! What a brilliant portrayal. Even when you get into the crappy sequels and stuff, Doug Bradley still brings it every time. He's still 100% committed, no matter what. Could be the cheesiest movie ever,
True.
But he's always menacing. He's always scary. He's always he's got class too. He's like the villain with class. He's so well spoken and intelligent, and what an awesome villain.
Absolutely.
So many classic one-liners, throughout the series, especially in the first two. The first two are just phenomenal movies, but even when you get into the later ones, like maybe part 3, they tried to make him a little more like Freddy and stuff, but he was still
he was like a glorified slasher villain from part 3 onwards.
Yeah.
I think it was better when the focus wasn't on Pinhead. I liked it better when he was kind of a supporting character, like more in the background. I think he just worked better that way. When it became the main focus, that's when it kind of went downhill. It was better when he had more of a supporting role.
I feel like I think part 3 is like the only time I can think where he was like front and center, really.
Yeah.
Usually he is just kind of in the background and
right.
A great choice though. Love some Pinhead.
Yeah, Pinhead's awesome, especially the Doug Bradley version.
True Cheetah, he did go out kind of easily at the end of part 2 there.
Yeah, I wish you put up more of a fight.
Yeah.
All the Cenobites got taken down pretty easily by Dr. Chenard.
Yeah.
They should have put up more of a fight.
Yeah, right.
They were taken out pretty easily in the first film too. Christie kind of figured out how to send them back to hell using the puzzle box pretty easily. It's like, man.
They're scary, but they're not that tough.
Yeah.
They're freaky, they're scary.
And the puzzle box is supposed to unlock the secrets of heaven and hell, but I mean, heaven must be a tough combo because they always dial up Lucifer's pad.
You think if you could unleash hell, that would be pretty intense. You could throw a lot of stuff at people.
Yeah, I know there's probably some explanation for it, but not really much of a puzzle box if everyone can just get in it so easily. That's all it takes.
Yeah, it seems pretty easy to figure out.
Funny you say that. I have the box, but I can't for the life of me get the damn thing open. But like my friend comes over and does it in like 5 seconds. Like, why can't I do it?
Oh wow! It's like a Rubik's cube.
Yeah.
But it's fully functional. Like the thing comes out, he's spinning around.
Oh, that's cool.
I just can't figure out how to do it.
I just have the tiny one that comes with the Pinhead action figure from NECA, which obviously doesn't do anything because it's too tiny.
Yeah.
And so my my number 9 is going to be Norman Bates from Psycho movies.
Hell yeah.
With the great Anthony Perkins. And he does a pretty good job in all 4 of them. He's definitely the highlight of the movies for sure. But yeah, very interesting character because, we've all seen the movie. We know what happens. We know that he's, really the killer, dressing up as his deceased mother and, stabbing women in the shower and keeping his mom's corpse in the attic or the cellar. Yeah, he's a pretty interesting character because he's legit insane with, like split personalities. And I really wish that this hadn't been spoiled for me the first time I watched it. The first time I watched it, I already knew what the twist was going to be. I really wish I could have watched it like not know.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, because
that sucks.
I know. It's really interesting, but oh well.
That's one of the great twists,
Yeah, it might be the best twist in the horror genre, quite possibly. But yeah, great character, Norman Bates. He's really he's a lot more fleshed out than like say, a slasher villain like Jason or whatever. But he's got a lot of sides, to his personality. There's a lot more to him.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes him interesting. If you don't know anything of the movie and haven't had the twist spoiled like I did, you just kind of think he's a little creepy. You think there's something weird going on. especially when he mentions his mom, but we don't know for sure. It just makes the twist all that more interesting. But yeah, definitely a great character. I love the way Anthony Perkins plays him. He does a way better job than Vince Vaughn, of course. But yeah, Psycho's a great movie. This was also one of the first horror movies I ever saw, and it stayed, definitely stayed with me, and I think it still holds up after all those years. And I love showing this to people for the first time who haven't seen it and don't know the twist, because it makes it exciting. I actually watched it at the drive-in a few years ago with a friend who had never seen it and didn't know about the twist. So, so it was kind of the next best thing from watching it the first time and not knowing, being with somebody who wasn't already spoiled. So, yeah, it's a classic. It's a masterpiece, and Norman Bates is my number 9 for obvious reasons.
What's the more realistic type of villain? Like,
oh yeah,
like that could happen in real life,
exactly.
Been villains like that. Well, actually, he's based on a real guy.
Yeah, it's loosely based on Ed Gein, so it definitely could really happen.
That makes it even scarier, really, sometimes when it's like a real life type of killer almost.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it actually happened.
Not some monster or something,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Norman Bates is so good. Such an interesting character, and just played to perfection. It's great to watch him, and just his ability to completely change just the eeriness with his facial features. Like he'd go from happy to, why would I want to do that? Just
Yeah.
Great acting for me.
Oh yeah,
He was great in the sequels too, especially part 2. It's kind of interesting because he was basically the main character in part 2 as well. He was kind of the main focus, so we kind of got to see things from his point of view a little more, which was interesting how they developed him further as a character.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I agree, Cheetah. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, Psycho 2 is great.
Definitely. Next up for me, coming in at number 9. This one had a weird effect on me when I saw it when I was a kid. Like, it creeped me the hell out. And that's going to be Candyman, played by Tony Todd. Say what you will about the sequels or whatever, but his performance in this film is very eerie. Like, the way he appears, his voice in the movie is just freaky as hell. Just hearing you somewhere, just Helen. And you're like, oh, God. But yeah, Tony Todd, extremely underrated. And he was just creepy as hell. I feel like he's almost a Dracula character in himself because he has that suaviness to him, or however you say it, that welcoming thing, but he is very violent. And yeah, just the whole bee scene where he just opens up his chest and everywhere. Yeah, love it. Candyman, underrated as hell. Creepy. There you go.
Yeah, Candyman's great. Tony Todd is awesome
Nice.
as always. Yeah, he's a very charismatic villain for sure.
Definitely.
Remember when the movie came out, everybody was mimicking the mirror thing. Everybody was looking in the mirror saying Candyman, summon him. Replaced Bloody Mary for a while, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, Jen's reviews from
Hey,
the grave.
Jen, what's up?
How you doing, Jen?
Welcome.
The horror hangout.
Oh yeah.
My number 9 pick is a one that just had a film come out, The Xenomorph from
Nice.
Aliens. I mean, man, what an awesome villain! What an awesome monster or creature! Things got acid for blood, for Christ's sake. It's got a wonderful defense mechanism. Don't dare kill it, right? It's terrifying to look at. It hides in the. I love how it hides and blends in with the spaceship and stuff. Or it hides in the high ground up in the rafters, you know. It's got that nasty tongue. Whoosh, the teeth come right out at you. And even, you know, when it's just a face hugger, it starts off as the face hugger, impregnating the guy, bam, busts through the chest and quickly becomes a full life-size alien.
Yeah.
Classic.
Just a sick-ass villain.
It's such a
Hard to
creative
kill.
design.
Yeah. Hard to kill, obviously.
Hell yeah.
Devastating.
Yeah, that's like a xenomorph is like the one movie monster I would not want to go up against. Like, I'd rather face almost anybody else than a xenomorph.
I would die just seeing it. I would have a heart attack.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, exactly. And before it even got to you.
So freaky looking, you know.
Yeah.
Nothing
awesome
like
design.
you would ever see.
Yeah, I remember before I actually saw any of the Alien movies, I saw a picture of a xenomorph in a magazine. It's probably around the time Aliens came out, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's like the scariest thing I've ever seen!" Like, wow.
To me, Alien is a masterpiece as one of the most effective jump scares ever. When he's closing all the stuff and then it's like it flashes the light. Ah!
Yeah, that's classic. I just watched it the other night. I've been on Alien like binge
Nice.
ever since I watched the Romulus.
My fiance and I
watching-
watched the first one a few days ago, and then they're having a marathon on TV, but then they skipped over Aliens for some reason. They went from Alien to Alien 3. Like, they showed
That's
all of them,
weird.
like, even Prometheus, but they skipped Aliens. I was like, man, really? That's one of the best ones. But I have them all on DVDs, so I can watch them anyway. But
Yeah, I've been on an Alien kick myself, but I still haven't seen Romulus yet, which
me
sucks.
neither.
Hopefully I'll get to see it soon.
Should check it out. It's if you're a fan, I mean,
I've
Yeah,
heard
see it.
mostly good things.
I've definitely heard it's the best since Alien and Aliens, but who knows?
yeah, it's up there. I would say.
Nice.
Well, it's got to
They
be
do a
better
lot.
than
They do a lot of things right. It's not perfect, but does a lot of things right.
Nice.
I kind of like to see an alien movie with like the xenomorphs attacking like the big city on Earth, like in modern day, you know, because I feel like the space station's been kind of played out. Like they've done that, you know, enough. I'd kind of like to see a different setting. I know one of the Alien versus Predator movies, Requiem, I guess, took place in the city, but that movie was meh. Yeah, I'll definitely check out Romulus eventually. All right, so is it my turn?
Yep.
All right, so my number 8 choice is going to be none other than the Tall Man, played by the late great Angus
yes.
Scrimm from the Phantasm
Nice.
movies. Yep. Yeah, such a great villain. So creepy. Definitely one of the creepiest horror villains ever. Right up there with Reverend Kane from Poltergeist 2. Yeah, the Tall Man, just great. Very interesting. Very creative. It's very eerie and ominous. And I think Angus Scrimm does a great performance in all 5 of the Phantasm movies. He's easily one of the best parts.
True.
And I like how, you know, most of his like his origin and his motivations and everything is kind of kept a mystery. It's kept very vague as to, like, you know, what exactly his end game is. I mean, you guess maybe he just wants to, you know, populate the earth with his zombified minions and stuff. But yeah, who knows? We just know that his intentions are purely malevolent. But yeah, very interesting, complex character, and Angus Scrimm plays him brilliantly. And ever since I saw this movie, I was immediately hooked and wanted to see more. And yeah, easily one of the best horror villains by far.
Hell yeah.
What'd you think about in the last couple movies when they showed kind of that other side to him, like the Jebediah Morningstone, where he was this distinguished British gentleman,
Yeah, I guess he was an ordinary human, and then I don't know, got possessed or something, or went to that other dimension and became the tall man. Yeah, that was interesting seeing Angus Scrimm play a different type of tall man. Back when he was a good guy, I guess. It was an interesting take.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I liked it too.
Oh, so good.
Got a wrestling fan in the chat, apparently.
What's that?
Got a wrestling fan in the chat, looks like.
Oh, nice. I'm trying to keep up with the chat and at the same time.
So next up for me, this was a real tough one because I was kind of conflicted with it, and I'll get into why. But next up for me is going to be Ghostface from Scream. And
Nice.
Now, why it's kind of conflicting about it is because, granted, the overall look and the character is iconic, but it's kind of a different person every time. So it's not just that one continuous individual. So I guess I'm this off of the look of the killer, as well as you seeing him doing the kill. But yeah, I like Ghostface. I love the look. It's a very simplistic costume. I'm pretty sure everyone has a damn mask, so yeah. And to me, Ghostface is always pretty consistent. He's always very clumsy at times, tripping over shit. But one of my favorite versions of the character is Scream 6 because he was just brutal in that movie. No tripping, falling. So yeah,
He meant business.
Yeah. But I went with Ghostface because I love Scream. I love the look of Ghostface. So there you go. I can see how that one can kind of be, iconic in a way.
Certainly, like you said, the look is absolutely iconic.
Yeah, it's different person or people rather each time. I think Billy and Stu were the best Ghostface in the first movie. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, looking forward to Scream 7.
Yeah.
And they were great characters too,
Yeah.
Definitely.
People still crying for Stu to return or whatever.
Yeah.
He's gonna be back for part 7, right?
He probably will eventually.
Just because the fans want it so much, they're probably gonna give in. And
well, they mentioned in I think it was part 6. They said, "Oh, if you actually believe he's dead or something like that," so they kind of hinted that he may still be alive because he could have survived the TV falling on his head. I mean, might be scarred or something, but
yeah.
if it was one of today's TVs, probably would, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Big 300-pound tube TV in his face. I don't know.
Guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
If the tube screen alone didn't kill him, the
electrocution, yeah. He's probably dead, but you never know. I mean, horror villains have come back from a lot worse, so
True.
Yeah,
There's some
true,
of the
but these
human
guys
ones.
are supposed to be like regular people. They're not
Well, yeah, that's true.
Jason
That's true.
Voorhees or something.
Yeah. But even some of the more human killers have come back, like the stepfather and,
Yeah, it's true.
so it's really up to the writers.
Yeah.
I guess anything can happen if you write it to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
My next might be a little bit of a shocker, but it's gonna be Mr. Jerry Dandridge from Fright Night. Yes,
Yeah.
freaking awesome
Great choice.
character. I think he's the most charismatic vampire of all time in movie history, even more than Dracula.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant portrayal by Chris Sarandon. Awesome movie. Original Fright Night is phenomenal. One of my favorite vampire movies of all time.
Yes.
Yeah, just badass. Is awesome. I love the prosthetics, makeup effects on him too. Are amazing.
Mhm.
I love how his look just changes dramatically throughout the movie. As the movie goes, it gets more and more like grotesque looking, till he turns into like a full-blown huge, like full-size bat.
Yeah.
Yeah, great character. Love Jerry Dandridge.
That's a great pick. Oh, I love Fright.
I'm the number one villain.
I get lost in the horror corner too. It's a good place to get lost in.
Indeed.
Yeah, Jerry Dandridge is great. Fright Night's one of my favorite movies of all time. Just so much fun, and yeah, Chris Sarandon plays him brilliantly, and it's definitely one of the highlights of the movie. Very memorable character. Wish he could have been in more horror films, but he definitely played one of the best movie vampires of all time, for sure.
Yeah, and only one movie, unless you count the remake.
Yeah.
I'm not counting. I'm not counting that version.
Me neither. Colonel Cochran.
Actually, he's my favorite part of Halloween 3. I think he is a great villain, actually.
Yeah, I agree. Dan O'Hurley always plays a good villain. Like in RoboCop 2.
Yeah. Whether or not it's fire is another stream.
What's that?
Marlo Scott said Halloween 3 was fire.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we talked about, we had a Morbid Hour video about all the Halloween movies, so check that one for more info. So it's my turn, right?
Yep.
All right, so my number 7 is going to be Pinhead from the Hellraiser movies.
Aha, nice.
Yeah, specifically from like the first 4. After that, they kind of just, I don't know, they didn't really follow the story. They just kind of did their own thing. It was like all the movies were written, and then they just threw Pinhead in it and tacked the Hellraiser name onto it just to get people to see it. But really, the first 4, really the first 2, I think are the only ones that are great. First 2 are great, and 3 and 4 are okay. They have their moments, but this movie, he was more of a supporting character. Even though he's on the poster, he really didn't have that big of a part. He wasn't even the main villain. Frank was. but he's still one of the most memorable parts of the movie. And I think he works best when he's one of the side characters. I'm a big fan of the whole less is more thing. And when the movie becomes all about Pinhead, I think it just kind of loses something. It makes him more interesting the more mysterious he is. And Doug Bradley plays him, does a very good job playing Pinhead. He's excellent. There will never be another Pinhead quite like Doug Bradley. And I know they tried a few times, but it's just not the same. And he's just a great character. Very, very interesting. The thing is, we do want to know more about him when we see the movies. So, I guess some of the sequels expanded his role for that reason. So many great lines. We have such sights to show you, and we'll tear your soul apart, and all that. He's an awesome character with an awesome, iconic look as well. Very creative.
Absolutely.
Good old Pinhead. Great horror villain from a franchise that started out great.
An excellent pick too.
Thanks.
The funny thing is they don't even call him that in the first couple of movies.
He just leads Cenobite.
I know.
The first movie. I think in the book, The Hellbound Heart, that of course Clive Barker wrote, I think he was just known as the Hell Priest or something. And then of course Clive Barker directed the first Hellraiser as well. So they didn't give him a name until the sequel. And even then, I don't think they ever called it by name in Hellraiser 2 that I can remember.
No, I don't think they did either in the second one even.
Yeah, not that I can remember.
Oh boy, well, next up for me, I feel this one is kind of an acquired taste to some. I know he's very popular, but at the same time, a lot of people don't like it, but I do. That's going to be Art the Clown. I very much enjoy this character because not only will he be just brutal as hell, but for a character that doesn't speak, he certainly has a personality to him. He just turn around and then he's just wearing glasses staring at you I get these movies are not for everybody, but I great time. Specifically the second one I think is fun as hell. Great 80s style soundtrack, fun kills, and just love it. So David Howard Thornton as Art the Clown is just so fun. I know the character's been around since All Hallows Eve in 2013, but he was played by different actors back then. But Art the Clown, what a good time. Good family fun.
I'm friends with David Howard Thornton on Facebook.
Nice.
I think he would make a pretty good Joker.
Yeah, all right.
It was good they finally made a pretty good killer clown movie in which the killer clown was actually human, or so we think. I don't know. I haven't seen the second one, so I don't know. They're making a part 3, right? It's going to be set during Christmas time or something.
Yes, right. It's supposed to be like a Christmas slasher.
Yeah, I saw All Hallows Eve years ago, and then I saw the first Terrifier, but I haven't seen the second one yet.
Oh, so good.
It's brutal.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
It's good. It's good though.
Mhm.
I like his little companion there, the little girl or whatever. She's pretty scary too. But it's something what he can do without even talking. How much expression he can do, how much of a personality he has, like you said.
Yeah, all the facial expressions and stuff. Do you know what happened to Big K Horror?
No, I don't even know who that is, honestly.
It sounds familiar. I think I knew. Yeah, was it Big K's movie reviews or something? Yeah, I think
Sounds familiar. I can't remember offhand.
Yeah. I don't know what happened to. I don't know what happened to them though.
It does sound familiar because I know a few of our early streams. You'd be like, "Hey, what's up, Big K?"
Yeah, that's right.
Heard much since then.
You know, I was
Big
wondering what
K.
happened to, remember Andrew Ballina? Whatever happened to him?
He hasn't made a video in a long time. Yeah, he hasn't made a video in 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and then Big K. Big K. I just looked it up on my phone. Big K movies and games. Where'd it go? I just had it a second ago. Oh, there it is. Yeah, he just did a video yesterday. He did an Alien Romulus review.
Oh,
Yeah, Big K's still on there. Lee Brown. I
But he
assume
said
it's the same one.
It's not the same guy.
Oh, it's a different guy. Okay, I'm not sure then. Yeah, I'm not sure. Hope you find him.
So we're down to number 7, right?
I believe so.
Yes.
My number 7 is this guy, Leatherface.
Nice.
Definitely iconic villain based on the real life serial killer Ed Gein, as was Norman Bates, but I think this one is closer to the actual character of Ed Gein, I think, than Norman Bates was, but
Definitely.
in this you see him actually wearing the face of his victims, and it's a sick ass character.
Definitely.
And the series itself goes up and down, but he's the one constant that's always interesting. And it's mysterious. He's a very mysterious character, and they keep it that way throughout most of the series, really. It was like, what's behind that mask? Who is this guy, really?
Yeah, you don't ever really
when
see
you
his
get
face.
Yeah. They try and mess with it a little bit with, like, Leatherface, the movie Leatherface, and
Yeah.
to varying results, but for the most part, he's kept, like, mysterious,
As it should be. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's scary about it. You don't really know anything about him, really.
Exactly.
Other than he's this crazy freaking backwoods hillbilly psycho. But there seems to be something more to him, like there's something sympathetic when you look at like even in the first movie, even part 2 as well. There's something there besides him just being a complete psycho.
Yeah, he's pretty much controlled by his older brothers. He doesn't really have a will of his own. Like I think they kind of forced him to be a killer and a cannibal. If it wasn't for their influence,
Right.
he probably could, probably wouldn't be killing people and stuff.
Yeah.
Right. That's a good point.
He's definitely interesting because he's not like fully going out there and killing people. Like when he killed Harry, he runs to the window and he's like, "Where the hell are all these people coming from?" And he's like freaking. So he's not really. He has a depth to him that's certainly there.
Yeah.
Like these people like just wander into his house,
Yeah.
That's what you get, a sledgehammer to the head.
So you get for trespassing.
Coming to my house for a mother effer.
No problem. Well, my next choice is also going to be Leatherface. Mostly
Nice.
the version from the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, directed by the great Tobe Hooper, the 1974 masterpiece. And yeah, like you already said, he's an interesting character because you don't really know a lot about him. And he there's like nothing behind the mask. Like he just wears different masks to gain an identity and a personality. And he doesn't really have any defining traits of his own other than he kills people and eats them. Which is basically just what his older brothers expect of him. They pretty much force him to do it. If he was raised differently in a better family, he probably wouldn't. So he's not really that evil per se. I don't think he even really knows any better. He doesn't really know what he's doing. He's just kind of acting on instinct. He's killing these trespassers and just doing the bidding of his older brothers. And yeah, I definitely like the version from the original played by Gunnar Hansen. I think he's by far the scariest and most interesting. Those few of the sequels portrayed him pretty well. Also, some of them not so much, but that's a long story.
We also
Yeah,
know he's kind of he might be gender confused.
yeah, yes, another. Yeah, he doesn't really. Yeah, he doesn't really have a personality. So yeah, sometimes he wears women's clothes, sometimes he wears men's clothes. He just doesn't really know. He just tries different like guises. It kind of goes by different forms just to
Yeah.
an attempt to like fit in and have an identity. So makes it very interesting. And another thing that makes him interesting is he's a realistic character too. This can happen. He, like you said, he is based on Ed Gein, and somebody could exist like that. He wears
Yeah.
masks made of human skin, just like Ed Gein did, and I mean, this is the most realistic out of most of the main slasher films. I mean, Freddy's a ghost, Jason's a zombie, Michael Myers is like an unkillable evil force, Chucky's a killer doll. Leatherface could actually exist, and people like him have existed.
Right.
Makes them all the more scary and interesting because it can actually happen.
We know he worked at the slaughterhouse with his brothers.
Yeah. I guess when it was closed down, they were forced to kill humans and eat human.
There you go. Yeah.
They said eat to survive.
Like, now what am I gonna do? I have to kill people.
Yeah.
Yep. Next up for me is going to be Pinhead from Hellraiser. I've always found this character fascinating, just because he looks crazy as hell, but he'll like tell you a story while he's torturing you. That's just how interesting Pinhead is. Yeah, he could just bunch of chains on you and then look you in the face and be like, so anyway, here's why this is happening to you. First, you asshole. And I'm just like, okay. So yeah, Doug Bradley specifically as Pinhead is just great. I mean, once again, even in the lesser films in the franchise, we still show up to see Pinhead. And they did it so weird because, granted, he's not in the first movie a lot at all. But when he shows up, it feels like, ooh. But at the same time, he's like in like 2 minutes of like the later movies. And it's just like, oh, that's right. It's a Hellraiser movie. I forgot. But yeah.
That's because half the time it wasn't supposed to be.
Exactly. Just shoehorned in there. A glorified cameo.
And like, admittedly, I have a soft spot for Hellraiser Inferno. It feels more like a Max Payne type movie rather than Hellraiser. But it's still nothing compares to the first one, in my opinion. I love the second one as well. I think it's great, but to me, the first one is still powerful, creepy as hell. Excellent score, great character, and
I agree.
just Pinhead is awesome, or the Hell Lisa.
Yeah, a lot of people prefer Hellbound Hellraiser 2. They say that the second movie is superior, but I've always liked the first one the best. Part 2 is great as well. It comes very close, but I think the first one's just a little better.
Yeah.
I just think 2 is a really good sequel.
Oh, absolutely. It's great.
It had a great, awesome score, too. The second one had a really bombastic score with the full orchestra and everything. Yeah. Pretty intense.
Has a slightly bigger budget, too.
Yeah. Also, just all of Pinhead's lines are fantastic. This isn't for your eyes. We'll tear your soul apart. No tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering. It's so good.
Time to play.
Time to play.
Let's see. We're down to this is gonna be an interesting one, guys. The Baron Victor Frankenstein, as played specifically by Peter Cushing,
Ooh,
the great
Nice.
Peter Cushing. Awesome character, and I just absolutely love the way he plays the character throughout the entire franchise. It's just Peter Cushing at his best, and he's such a layered character too. Like sometimes he's more evil than other times. Sometimes he has a little bit of sympathetic qualities. You know, like there's no limit to what he will do to further his experiments in the name of science. That's everything to him, and he'll go to any lengths imaginable, and he does.
yes.
Yeah, just brilliant character. I love all the Hammer of Frankenstein movies. It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite series. So one of my favorite actors, Peter Cushing, and he just kills it every time.
Yes, he does.
I agree. He's kind of like a Herbert West in that he's just
Yeah,
so he just obsesses over his work so much. Like he'll do anything in the name of science, and like you said, he's not always evil. Like I think he's definitely the most evil in that one that you just had. Frankenstein
yeah,
Must Be Destroyed. He's definitely the
definitely.
most evil there. Oddly enough, I think the movie Evil of Frankenstein, I think he's actually the least evil in that one.
That's true.
Yeah, and even Frankenstein created a woman. He's a little more of a good guy. But I think the Curse of Frankenstein and Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed. He's pretty much a straight up villain.
Yeah,
Which is interesting because that character is not always portrayed as a villain. So, Peter Cushing definitely expanded the role a lot. It's definitely a very iconic performance.
absolutely.
What an excellent pick.
All right, so my number 5 choice is going to be Dracula. Count Dracula, and I'm talking about pretty much all the iterations of the character, from the Bram Stoker's novel to all the various film adaptations. Whether it's Bela Lugosi or Christopher Lee or Frank Langella or Gary Oldman. I think most of them anyway have been pretty great and unforgettable in their own way. But when it comes to my favorite, it's definitely a tie between, of course, Bela Lugosi from the 1931 classic black and white Universal Monsters film, which is one of the first horror movies I ever saw. And, of course, the great Christopher Lee from the Hammer series. I can't decide between the two. I love them both in different ways. Bela Lugosi, of course, is more iconic. And whenever you see like a parody of the Dracula character, they're usually imitating Bela Lugosi's accent and stuff. However, Christopher Lee got to play Dracula a lot more. Bela Lugosi only played him twice in a movie. And even though he did play similar characters in other movies, but he only actually played Count Dracula twice in a movie, whereas Christopher Lee played him 7 times. So we got to see like a lot of different assets of his personality. Christopher Lee would range from a suave, charismatic gentleman who was well-spoken and articulate to an evil, blood-sucking leech on 2 legs, just a venomous, violent creature of the night. And Lugosi was usually more the former, though he's definitely very evil too. But yeah, I just love them both. And like I said, I can't decide. I think they're both great in their own way. But just the Dracula character as a whole, and pretty much every good incarnation of the story is always one of my favorite horror villains. It's probably the most recurring horror villain. I think there's probably more versions of the Dracula character than there are any other horror character, maybe even any other character in general.
That's true.
My gosh, I mean, how many movies have had the Dracula character in it? So many. So, and usually they differ a lot from the original version in Bram Stoker's novel. He hardly ever has a mustache like he did in the novels. So, it's pretty interesting that they had so many different interpretations of the character. But
Although he did in the one with Christopher Lee, the
Yeah, the 1970
The one
Count
from Jess
Dracula.
Franco.
Yeah, the Jess Franco version with Christopher Lee, which wasn't a Hammer movie, but it was a pretty faithful adaptation of the novel. Yeah, he had the look, he had the mustache and everything. He looked just like he was described in the novel. It's one of the only times he had a mustache. So.
True.
But yeah, the Lugosi and Lee versions are definitely my favorite.
Awesome. Love it. Love it.
Big pick.
Oh yeah, Klaus Kinski from Nosferatu was great, as is Max Schreck from the original 1922 silent Nosferatu film.
Mm-hmm.
He was
Which
extremely
really
creepy.
is the Dracula story.
Yeah,
Obviously.
they changed the names. They didn't have the rights. But they couldn't get the rights from Bram Stoker's widow, so they changed all the names. But it pretty much is just an adaptation of Dracula. Count Orlok is essentially just Dracula with a different name.
But his look is cool and different. That's what's different.
Oh
about
yeah, yeah. It looks like some evil demonic creature that I don't know how he passes for human exactly. I'm not sure how he's supposed to blend in.
Yeah.
Why not?
Okay, so we're down to our number 5 now, right?
Yep.
Okay, number 5 for me is going to be Leatherface. Once again, another very interesting character to me, no matter how many different interpretations there are of this character. I find it very interesting that, at least in the first 3 films, you kind of saw this transition with the character. Like, this movie, he acts like a kid. Part 2, he kind of acts like a freaking teenager, who's in love or something. And then part 3, but yeah, it's just a very interesting character. Gunnar Hansen plays him excellent, of course. He's both sympathetic and scary at the same time because he was born into this, raised into it. And yeah, once again, another film that has one of the best jump scares with, I hear something, stop. And so, yeah, just truly an interesting character. What's your favorite look of him in this film? Mine is the first one you see him in, that look, the butcher.
Yeah, that version, yes.
Yeah.
I like this look when he wears the pretty woman mask with the makeup and the tuxedo and the high heels. I think that was for some reason is just the creepiest to me.
True.
Both of them are extremely iconic in the same movie, so that's great.
Yeah,
especially
absolutely.
like in the dinner scene when you see him up close in the camera and he's just like staring at the girl, like it's so creepy.
Yeah, great character. Randy Cunningham's in the chat. How's it going, Randy? Yeah, I love the Frank Langella Dracula from 1979. That movie's so underrated. You hardly ever hear it talked about when people are talking about Dracula. I saw that.
Definitely the most charming, handsome Dracula.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that at a really young age. The scene where they're underground with Mina, it's Mina who becomes a vampire, that version, not Lucy. When they're underground with her, like going after them, that's a really, really creepy, unsettling scene. It's a pretty scary movie, and yeah,
it's a good movie, man.
It's very good. It's underrated. Hardly anybody talks about it. I think it's right up there with one of the best versions of Dracula for sure. I think Langella did a great job.
You got Laurence Olivier, you got Donald Pleasance.
Yeah, Olivier was a great Van Helsing.
So, what's your John?
I'm going the Frankenstein's monster. As everything Hellhound said earlier. Once again, very interesting character, almost like Leatherface too, like mysterious, a a little bit sympathetic at times because, he's like a fish out of water. He doesn't know anything because he's basically a newborn. He's like a newborn baby, kind of, learning life as he goes. He doesn't know anything, So he stumbles into trouble and, sometimes he accidentally kills someone, sometimes he means it. So, very interesting character. Obviously, I mean, yeah, nobody does it better than Boris Karloff. I mean, although I do like some of the other versions. I like Glenn Strange. I like even Lon Chaney was pretty good in the Ghost of Frankenstein. And even, the various versions and the Hammer ones, Christopher Lee was great. Yeah.
Kiwi Kingston.
Even David Prowse and the Monster from Hell and stuff.
And David Prowse played the monster in Horror Frankenstein also.
Right. But Universal would definitely be my favorite.
Absolutely.
Boris Karloff is the man. He just brought more depth to the character, I think, than anybody.
Oh, yeah. He nailed it.
Especially in even like, Bride of Frankenstein, when he learns more and starts learning how to speak and he gets smarter as the movie goes, and it's interesting,
Yeah, I love how he talks in that one. I always hated how some of the ones after that didn't have him talking.
I know.
Step backward.
It's funny, yeah. Like I said, Lon Chaney, when he goes to Frankenstein, he just like grunts and stuff. He doesn't talk at all.
He was like Michael Myers.
Until he, switches his brain with
Igor, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like a rock. Like he barely had any personality at all. It's still good. Reminded me of Michael Myers a little bit.
Yeah. But even in Son of Frankenstein, like what happened? How come you're not talking anymore?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I thought that was kind of a regression. It was cool that he had developed his own personality, so I don't know why they went back on that.
Yeah.
But, oh well, still a good movie. Okay, so my fourth favorite is going to be none other than Chucky from the Child's Play franchise.
Nice.
Good old Chucky. As far as killer dolls go, Chucky is definitely the best and most iconic, at least in my opinion. Yep. The evil doll possessed by the soul of the serial killer Charles Lee Ray, played by the great Brad Dourif, who, of course, also voices Chucky in every incarnation except for the remake that I don't care about. But in all the movies in the original series and the Chucky TV show, Brad Dourif does the voice and does a great job. Nobody can do Chucky quite like him. But yeah, just a very interesting villain. He's scary and usually pretty funny too. Some of my favorite lines, his wisecracks and one-liners, I think most of the time are pretty hilarious and can be kind of, can either be kind of cruel, mocking taunts when he's, torturing his victims, or just like really funny lines when he's just, he's being funny. A very humorous character. He wasn't that funny in the first movie. He had like one funny line. That was, of course, in the elevator scene.
Yeah.
But
that's classic.
Yeah, but just a great character. He's evil. He's charismatic. He's got a very fleshed out personality, and he's not like a cold, calculating, like silent killer either. He's more of a wild, hot-headed sadist who has a severe anger problem and gets enraged and throws tantrums and stuff. He's got quite a temper. So, they could have easily just made him kind of mysterious and like a shadowy figure who's really eerie. But no, he's kind of more extroverted and in your face, which I like. Yeah. Yeah, Chucky's awesome. One of my favorite characters of all time, horror or otherwise.
I love Chucky.
He's got that great laugh too. I don't know how he does that. It's so distinctive of Chucky. Like that's Chucky's laugh.
Oh yeah.
Like
yeah.
Hmm. Let's see. Next up for me, I'm gonna go with Freddy Krueger at my number 4. I love Freddy. Robert Englund, of course, is fantastic and iconic as the character. Uh, Yet another horror icon that went through several different, like, sometimes he's scary, sometimes he's a jokester. So, yeah, I prefer the scary Freddy from specifically the first 3. Because part 3, he's still scary, but he had a little bit of humor to him. So, but yeah, and to me, specifically part 2 anyway, that to me is the scariest Freddy in the franchise. The
Oh
witch
yeah, no doubt.
is, just yeah, just everything about this original film and how Freddy was presented was just extremely effective. And you know, specifically the way the dreams kind of were in this film, where Freddy made it sometimes look like someone else did it or they did it to themselves, so no one would believe them. I found that part interesting. Like, just now the whole Tina situation, her all up on the roof. I don't know how you're going to explain that. Or even Glenn's death, getting sucked into the bed and a fountain of blood through the air. Like, how are you going to say that was someone that did that? But yeah, it's pretty much, you know, this and my number 3, they switch back a lot. But for now, number 4 is good old Freddy Krueger.
Nice.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Great choice. Yeah, Freddy's excellent. I agree with Lee Brown here. He said Chucky's scary, but has nothing on the Trilogy of Terror doll. Yeah, the Zuni fetish doll from the 2 Trilogy of Terror movies is really, really freaking creepy. I saw that at a very young age, and yeah, I was like, wow, yeah.
I watched that recently on Svengoolie.
Oh, nice. I love Svengoolie. It's such a great show.
My
my
uncle
favorite
got
horror
me
host.
into that.
Yeah. That's right, Lee. Absolutely.
My number 4 is without a doubt an icon of horror, one of the most famous of all time. You know him, you love him, Jason Voorhees.
Yeah.
I love the mythology of him. I love the backstory that they start, even with the first one. You know, this young boy that drowned as a little boy at the camp, and none of the councils are paying attention to him, and poor kid.
Yeah.
But he comes back for his revenge. Not only against the councilors, but against the ones that killed his mom, Pamela Voorhees.
Oh, yeah.
And then he became one of the most iconic killers of all time with that hockey mask, that classic look, you know,
Yep.
throughout the series. I actually love the sackhead look from part 2 as well,
Me too.
which is my favorite sequel in the series. I freaking love part 2. But yeah, he becomes more and more like monstrous as the series goes on, more unstoppable. It becomes more, you know, by the time you get to part 6, he's a full-blown zombie, you know, unstoppable zombie.
Yep.
But yeah, it was awesome. Loved Jason Voorhees. Loved the Friday 13th franchise. Yeah. I love all the different actors that portrayed him throughout the year. It's a different actor almost every time.
Mm.
Until you get to Kane Hodder, who did it 4 times. But
Yeah, Jason's a very dynamic character. In the first movie, he was just a plot device that set in motion the events of the movie, just a motivation for the killer. His mother, Pamela, of course, like you said. And you know, he goes from, you know, a boy who drowned to just kind of a more human, reclusive hillbilly hermit who wears a sack on his head to, you know, a killer zombie who's like an unstoppable Terminator like Juggernaut to a demonic worm who possesses people to a cyborg in space. He's done it all. But at least he never cried.
Yeah. Hey, Jump Smash, what's up?
How's it going, Jump Smash?
Well, we still got a few left.
Indeed. It's all good.
But we are getting down to the gist of it.
Yep, that we are.
I
thought we'd have like way different picks though, but we've all had pretty much a lot of the same ones.
There's a few different ones. Yeah, all the really, mostly really iconic villains were picked by all three of us.
But a lot of people, when they do these kinds of lists, do stick with like the slasher people.
Yeah. I tried to have kind of a variety in my list. I wanted the different types of villains. But anyway, yeah, my number 3 is going to be Freddy Krueger from the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. And like Horror Fan 88 said, he kind of got gradually more and more funny as the series went on. I think it peaked at part 3. Like, in that one, he was scary and funny, and it was a good balance. It was before he became a straight up comedian. He wasn't a campy comedic clown quite yet. But he wasn't quite as dark and shadowy as he was in the first 2. So it was kind of like a steady middle ground, a happy medium. But yeah, very creative idea for a character, very imaginative. I mean, a killer who murders you in your dreams. I mean, that's a very, very interesting concept. That was definitely something that hadn't been done before at the time. And of course, Robert Englund plays him brilliantly as always. He's pretty much synonymous with Freddy to me. Robert Englund is Freddy.
Yeah.
Freddy is Robert Englund, so for sure he definitely made the role his own, and it's interesting to see all the different versions of the character in all the sequels, because even the makeup changes from entry to entry, and his personality changed a lot too. And sometimes if you're in the mood to watch a really scary, dark, serious movie, you'll watch the first one, but other times if you're in the mood to laugh, you'll watch 4, 5, or 6. So it's interesting. It's the same character and the same actor, and it's played so many different iterations of the same character. But yeah, what else can I say about Freddy that hasn't been said a million times before? He's just very iconic. Of course, the glove with the knives on it, and the striped sweater, and the hat, and the scarred face, and just such a distinct look.
Yeah,
very creative, very innovative, very original, and just awesome in every way.
Oh yeah,
good old Freddy. He's got to be on every top 10 horror villain list for sure.
He has to be.
Yep.
He's got to be on there. He's required. I agree, Lee. Part 3 is my favorite too. I think the first one's technically the best, like objectively, but part 3 is my personal favorite. I just love that movie. It's so much fun. My fiance and I watched all the Freddy movies recently, and that was her favorite as well.
Yeah.
I am an OG guy. I just feel the first movie is just all around scary. That's why I like it so much. Because not only is Freddy scary, the whole movie is scary.
Like it's definitely the scariest and most suspenseful.
The dream sequences are amazing. The tone is so dark, and the look of it is great. The direction, Wes Craven, is scary. The score is scary as hell.
Definitely.
So, my number, he's a heavy hitter.
That he is.
Jason Voorhees. Oh, yeah. What can you say about good old Jason? Well, much like Leatherface, he too is in some ways a sympathetic character, like you said. Got picked on, drowned, and all that. And you know, I'm kind of on that island where I love every Friday the 13th movie, every one of them. Jason Goes to Hell, Jason X, Takes Manhattan, love them all.
Me too.
And part 4 is one I'm pointing at specifically because Ted White is my favorite Jason. He is creepy. He hauls ass after you. He, for some reason, in one day grew his nails out extremely long. Yeah, I just love Jason Voorhees so much. Ted White is a fantastic Jason. Kane Hodder's a great Jason as well. Yeah, Jason is iconic in every sense of the way. And of course, he has one of the most iconic masks in horror, the hockey mask.
Is that signed by one of them?
Kane Hodder.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
Very cool.
Great choice. Great choice. My number 3 is gonna be. You just said it. It's required. Freddy Krueger, and this is the part 2, Freddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I have as well. I think-
Awesome looking freaking Freddy.
yeah, he had the best look in part 2 for sure.
Scariest. Yeah, I mean, what more can you say about Freddy? The iconic look, the burned face, and the fedora hat. What a ingenious weapon! You know, this glove that he made himself, and the knives on it, and unique weapon for a slasher killer.
Oh, yeah. The best.
And I mean, that's just a genius idea, having a killer that stalks you in your dreams, because that's something that we can all relate to, because we've all had those dreams where some crazy one person is chasing after you or whatever, you know, some boogeyman. And usually when there's about to get you, you wake up and you're like, you know. But in this movie, you don't wake up a lot of the times. You die in the dream, you die for real, which is cool and different. And even like they even played with a little bit in part 2 where he actually was able to possess somebody. I like that too. And yeah, I mean, brilliant performance by Robert Englund, like you said, every time he just kills it. Amazing actor. He brings so much life to the character. And, you know, yeah, even the fact that people love him, even though the fact that he's like a child killer, you know, is pretty messed up. It's just a great story, too. The serial killer, this child killer, let the parents all track him down and throw the gas on him and burn him in his own boiler room where he worked. Just a really great story and a great character. So yeah, Freddy's got to be there. Got to be in there.
Yeah, Lee, I don't own a Freddy mask, but I do have a Freddy glove that's right with my Jason mask hanging up on the wall.
Yeah. I had a Freddy mask, but the latex falling apart on it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he definitely had the best look in part 2. I think the makeup job was the best in the second movie.
Yeah. My favorite shot of Freddy in the entire franchise is when the dad at the pool party shoots the grill and the flames come up and you see a snarl behind the fire.
Yeah, yeah.
That's wicked.
Yeah, that's right, Jump Smash. Yeah, Kevin Yeager is a makeup effects legend.
Mm-hmm.
He also worked on Chucky and
children now.
yeah.
So many quotable lines all in the series.
Yep.
Endlessly quotable.
What's wrong, Joey? Feeling a little tongue-tied?
You've got the body. I've got the brains.
Yes. Very cool. Is it my turn?
Yep.
All right, so my number 2 is going to be, of course, Jason Voorhees. And probably my favorite version of Jason, I agree with Horror Fan 88, is Friday 13th, The Final Chapter, where he's played by Ted White. But I also really like Richard Brooker, C.J. Graham, and, of course, Kane Hodder, who played him 4 consecutive times and is the only actor to play him more than once. Did a great job as well. But yeah, The Final Chapter, I think, kind of has the definitive quintessential Jason, like all the traits that he's known for, and, of course, all the tropes associated with the series and slasher films in general are pretty much present in The Final Chapter. I think that's kind of the, if I was going to show anybody just one Jason movie, it probably would be The Final Chapter. And he's a great character. He's my favorite Jason look is part 7.
It's badass.
Yeah, he's got exposed bones and everything, the chain around his neck. He looks amazing. And of course, part 7 was directed by John Carl Buechler, so a special effects artist directed the movie. So of course he's got a look. Yeah, just a great character. It's interesting because he just started out as a boy who drowned, and we don't know much about him, and he just quickly turns into the hockey mask wearing slasher of Camp Crystal Lake, where nobody's safe from his machete blade or any of the other various weapons that he wields and uses against people.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah. I think that, although he's, he has been a demonic worm who possesses people and he's been a cyborg in space, I think his personality is pretty much stayed intact. He doesn't ever shed a tear like Michael Myers does in Halloween 5. He doesn't get his butt kicked by Busta Rhymes, I think it stayed pretty consistent. And, yeah, Jason's just a great character. Like you said, he can be portrayed as kind of sympathetic, too, because, he was bullied and, he drowned and, he's territorial. He only kills people who trespass on his grounds. Yeah, it's such an iconic look. Of course, the hockey mask, and I like the potato sack in part 2 as well. I think that version of Jason might have been a little creepier in a way. Maybe not the most menacing or intimidating Jason, but definitely very creepy and mysterious. And just interesting, all the different actors that played him, all the different looks he had, from having a full head of hair and a beard in part 2 to being completely bald and clean shaven in part 3. And, and then, like you said, the long nails in part 4. Many different awesome unmasked looks. And some of the best kills as well. I think he's definitely, when it comes to the kills, I think Jason's definitely the top dog for sure.
Yeah.
Probably has the highest body count and the most creative kills as well. So yeah, good old Jason. I think that he belongs on every horror villain list as well. So iconic.
Sure.
Great Friday 13th series.
In part 7, favorite look as well. I got mine displayed with the axe like that.
Nice.
Like when he kills the blonde girl.
She opens the door.
I love that part.
Yeah.
Because she was so annoying. Like, you couldn't wait to see her die, right?
Yeah, she was awful.
Love just tosses it over the TV.
Richard Brooker was a great Jason.
Yeah, he was awesome.
I mean, there really never was a bad one. They all were good, honestly.
No, yeah, they were all pretty good.
So, number 2 for me, I've been a big fanatic of this franchise for many a years, and that's, the good old Chuckster.
Chuckster.
Yes, I have been a big fan of Chucky damn near my whole life, man. I mean, Chucky, another franchise that I don't hate any entry. That includes Seed of Chucky. I think that movie's hilarious. And
I agree.
Chucky, whether you prefer him just kind of silent and scary or funny as hell, both of them are great. I think Brad Dourif is the perfect voice of Chucky. Now, he is the voice of Chucky to me. Like when they got Mark Hamill to do the remake, I was like, yeah, okay, but it's not Brad Chucky. Yeah, I mean, from 1988's Child's Play all the way to the TV series, I've just loved it. Chucky's always just been a great ride. Love to rewatch the series. Bride of Chucky is tied with my favorite of the franchise. I love the scarred look and everything about that.
Yes.
So yeah, Chucky, and like you said earlier, that elevator scene is hilarious. Ugly. Oh, fuck you. Oh yeah. But yeah, Chucky.
Good old Chucky.
Yep.
Yeah, if I only had to bring, if I was on a desert island and somehow had a way to watch movies still, like a portable DVD player that never ran out of battery or something, like, and I can only pick one horror franchise to bring with me, it probably would be the Chucky series, because I think it's a little more diverse. Some of the Friday 13th films, kind of, they're kind of similar to each other, whereas the Chucky films have more variety. I mean, he gets a bride, and then has a kid. He's been in a lot of different situations. They always manage to keep it fresh and original. And yeah, I love Bride Chucky, and I don't think it has a bad entry in the series. Well, except maybe the remake, but I love all the Chucky movies and the real series. So
now there's like all different versions of them
Yeah.
in like the TV show and stuff.
Yeah, it's like a bunch of them.
Well, my number 2 is going to be Dracula.
There it is.
And that's, I'm going to say mainly, like Hellhound was saying, Christopher Lee and Bela Lugosi together.
Nice. I don't have that
Well,
Christopher Lee figure.
If I had to pick, Christopher Lee is my favorite, but I feel like Bela Lugosi is the most, like you said, iconic. Is that the black and white version?
Oh no, it's the color one.
Oh,
It does look black and white though with the lighting in here.
But yeah, I love Dracula.
I want that figure.
I got the NECA one coming next month, baby. I'm so excited.
Hell yeah. I'd like to get my hands on that too.
Horror of Dracula from NECA.
Nice.
It's going to be awesome. This one's freaking awesome, though.
Yeah, that's great.
They did a great job on that. It looks
Yes,
just
I did,
like
Lee.
him.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I did say that, Lee. Definitely. I love the gothic tone of Bride of Chucky.
But yes, even some of the other versions, like you said, like the 79 version, Frank Langella's really good. Shit, even the Dan Curtis one with Jack Palance was pretty good. But yeah, Christopher Lee playing him 9 times if you count the non-Hammer ones.
Yeah.
But the Hammer ones, he's absolutely freaking amazing.
Great choice. I knew it had to be high on the list somewhere.
Yeah, you know me, love my Dracula.
Yeah.
Just immortal monster. Who doesn't want to be Dracula? I mean, come on.
That is a killer figure, though. Christopher Lee one. Oh,
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to get it. There's one that the Trick or Treat Studios did, which was really cool too. The Prince of Darkness version.
oh,
But it's so expensive, I can't afford it. I can't. At least I could afford the NECA one.
yeah. Yeah, those Trick or Treat Studio figures, they go for a pretty penny.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because
Yeah, even like the Michael Myers ones from like big like tall ones in the big box, you know.
yep.
They're pricey.
Yeah, they are quite expensive.
But he's the king of all vampires.
True that.
Most definitely.
The Count.
All right, so my number one choice, which something tells me is going to also be the same as you guys.
Something tells me you're right.
I have a feeling. Okay, we all know it's Michael Myers, of course, from the Halloween franchise. As much as I love the others, Jason and Dracula and Freddy and all of them, I think Michael Myers is just such an interesting character. He's just totally unrelatable. He has no emotions. He has no conscience. Like there's pretty much nothing, no defining personality aspects whatsoever. He doesn't have an identity at all. He just kills people. That's pretty much all there is to him. He's just pure evil on two legs. And the fact that he can't really be killed by, for the most part makes him even more interesting because he's not really a zombie. He's not really any kind of monster. He's supposed to be just an ordinary human, but just, he's just so evil. And I think he's a lot scarier when we don't know what makes him so evil. Some of the sequels have tried to expand on his character and like kind of give him a backstory or a motivation. I think it doesn't work. I think the less you know about him, the better. The more mysterious he is, the more interesting. I don't like the Thorin thing. I don't like when he's controlled by druids. I don't like when he cries. I don't like when he's beat up by Laurie Strode or Busta Rhymes or, or takes on a protege who gets more screen time than him. Yeah, I like it when he just kept the less is more, the simpler, the better. The simplicity of it is what makes him so interesting. And he's just a very, very fascinating, very intriguing character. And even if he wasn't a serial killer, even if he didn't murder people, I'd still find him interesting because he's just so unrelatable and just the fact that he has no personality, really, and he's definitely the scariest in the first movie.
Yeah.
And the second one does a pretty good job too. This figure right here is from the second, it's from Halloween 2, which I also love a lot, of course.
Yeah.
But the first movie, he was just so friggin' evil and just so fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely my number one. It has been ever since I saw the first movie all those years ago.
Hell yeah.
And he's the most mysterious in the first movie too. It's like
Easily.
Who is this guy? We just know that he murdered his sister when he was 6 years old.
Yeah.
We don't know why. It's like
I don't like
nothing
whenever
there.
Exactly. I don't like when they try to give him any kind of motivation or any kind of elaborate backstory or anything. It's the less you know, the more interesting and scarier he is. Nick Castle and Dick Warlock are my favorites as well.
Hell yeah.
One.
What a handsome mask.
Yeah. Number one, Halloween, of course. That never changed for me. Always been, as they call him, Michael Myers fanboy. Um, everything Halloween. I have so much Halloween shit and Michael Myers stuff that it's insane. How obsessed I am with the franchise and the character. Yeah, the first movie, he's the most mysterious. He's the most creepy. Good old Michael Audrey Myers. Yeah, and I'm one of those Halloween fans that loves a lot of the most hated ones in the franchise. Halloween 5, Halloween 6. I love them all. But yeah, Michael Myers. It had to be.
Obviously, it's this guy.
Yeah.
The biggest icon in horror. Most iconic boogeyman of all time. Michael freaking Myers.
Mm-hmm.
What's the 2018 version, if you don't know?
Yeah, I've got that one too. It's I'll put it back in the box after I get the Halloween 2 figure.
I have that one too, the Halloween 2. I have a couple. I have the clothed version of Halloween 2,
Oh,
the
nice.
fabric, and the regular nickel one.
Nice.
Of course, I had to change his head to the bleeding one. I mean, you gotta.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I knew people would be able to hear me, I'd wear the mask the rest of the video. Just
Yeah, it might be a
I
little
couldn't do
bumpy.
it. I can't wear it for more than like 10 minutes,
well,
Not sweating my ass off.
Yeah,
I own-
latex kind of gives me a headache.
I own the Rob Zombie one, and that one's kind of more loose fitting. So
Yeah,
There you go.
got room to breathe.
I swear, I just want to say real quick, the neck on this thing kind of makes me feel like I'm '89 Batman. Just
You can't move your neck.
Turn your head.
uh,
It's a William Shatner mask too.
That's just something about him, the mystery of him, like you said,
Yep.
Like, who's behind that mask? What's this guy's deal, man? He's so freaking scary. He literally is like the nightmare man you see in your dreams, or the boogeyman,
Yep.
And I love how they talk about him throughout the movie,
Yeah, especially Dr.
Like-
Loomis.
Mm-hmm. The way Loomis described him gives you that, feeling, like, who is this guy, man? He's so
Evil
evil.
incarnate.
And even when Laurie's talking to Tommy about, what's the boogeyman? And then when they're talking about, that gives you even more, like, exposition, like,
Yeah.
such an interesting character,
Very true.
Absolutely.
And just the look is very simple, but just terrifying. That mask, that with expressionless, pale, white. It's freaky. It's weird, especially when you see him in the background and slowly emerging from the shadows. It's just got
Yeah.
such a scary look about it. I don't know.
Absolutely.
And the way he stalks people, he's just hiding in the shadows and behind the trees, behind the wherever,
Yep.
Never know where he's gonna be, where he's gonna pop out from, or and what he's gonna do to you, and how dangerous he is. He can either play a trick on you or just straight out destroy you. And that's another thing I love about him. He's kind of a little bit of a trickster too. He likes to set up the scares and
Michael rules.
Michael rules. God damn it.
Indubitably, and I hold him to a much higher standard than I do, say, like Jason or something. With Jason, I'm a little more forgiving. Like, he's gone through a lot of weird, interesting changes throughout the series. But like, I just hold Michael Myers to a higher standard. That's why I'm a little more hard on when the Halloween entries that I don't care for. There's just a way that I want him to be portrayed, and when they go against that, it usually I don't care for it as much.
So
Probably because the original Halloween is such a damn classic. It's such
Exactly.
a perfect horror movie. It's
Right.
like
I never looked at Friday 13th as having the same amount of like class or sophistication.
yeah.
So I'm just a little more forgiving with those because I don't think they were ever as great as the original Halloween.
yeah,
Plus, it's like they got it right from the get go. Michael
Yeah.
Myers, full blown, perfect in the first movie.
Exactly.
It's the perfect iteration of the character
Hmm.
right away.
Hands down.
so you're saying this one's your favorite?
Of course.
Oh hell no!
Yeah, I just love Michael Myers being a bearded hermit who has most of his mask off in the entire movie and even talks. That was a great idea. Good job, Rob Zombie. You really reinvented it there. You made it more interesting.
Hobo Myers.
Ruh, 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 ruh.
Almost walked out of the theater when I saw that piece of crap.
I hate the mask. Like it's just like there's nothing
awful.
there really. It's like hanging up his face. It's like
Terrible.
why even wear it?
Exactly.
And he doesn't for half the movie.
It doesn't feel like a Halloween movie anyway. Why even bother wearing the mask? Why not just go all out and just,
I love it. Great film. Fantastic film.
Yeah,
The mask makes so much of what he is too. It's like I don't want to see him without the mask.
Yeah, very respectful to the original there.
Oh God, get me started. The thing is, I hate Resurrection even more because it's just crap. But it doesn't just how he insults the series.
It's a close one for me. I hate Halloween Resurrection and Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 pretty much equally, but in different ways. Like I hate Resurrection because it just makes Michael Myers such a wimp and has Busta Rhymes kick him all over the place, and I hate that. But at least he wears the mask for most of the movie and doesn't talk. And then of course I hate Rob Zombie's version because they give him the most generic, most cliche backstory ever. Okay, has a abusive stepfather, and he comes from a poor white trash family, and he's bullied in school. It's like, oh wow, he was scarier when you didn't know why he was so evil and why he killed people. So giving them that cliche by the numbers origin story was just a stupid idea. But yeah, it's I could go on and on about why they got so many things wrong. Not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
If you're a fan of those movies, I respect your opinion. To each their own. But that's just why I don't like them, because I feel like they missed the point. They don't have they didn't capture what makes Myers so scary and interesting to begin with.
Agreed.
I'm all for reinventions and keeping it fresh and putting a fresh spin on the character, but it doesn't have any of the aspects that that made him so interesting in the first place. So so why am I gonna enjoy that?
I hate that they made him like a mama's boy, like
Yeah,
Jason or whatever. Like Because I always used to get pissed off when people mistake Michael Myers for Jason, and then here you go adding to it.
Exactly.
Now you're
And
giving him the same kind of story as Jason.
Exactly. And they made him too human. I know he was, pretty intimidating, but like, I don't know, he's too human. And also he's way too big. Like Michael Myers should always be kind of tall, but I always kind of got the feeling that he could blend in, especially on Halloween when everybody's wearing a mask. Like I always feel like he could blend in. And the Rob Zombie's version, he looks like a hulking, like wrestler, bouncer at a strip club type. And yeah, he's menacing, but like, he's not creepy or mysterious like at all. Like there's no mystery, and it's just very loud and spelled out and in your face. There's nothing like subtle about it.
That's what I like when he's like a regular looking, like a regular size guy, like doing these incredible things. Like
exactly. It makes it more interesting.
How is he capable of this? And that's another part of the mystery of how is he capable of these inhuman like things when he's just a kind of a regular sized guy,
Yeah, it's better when he's more unassuming,
It's more adds to the mystery even more,
Exactly. All right. Any closing thoughts about horror villains before we get into some Megadeth?
I enjoyed everyone's picks.
Likewise.
I love that we all had the same number one.
Yeah.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah. Even before we started the video, I figured that we would.
It's unanimous. This is the guy.
Yes, definitely. There's so many Morbid Hour videos where Halloween is like our number one spot for like a lot of our
I know,
right?
Yep. And now, everyone, get ready for our review for Cowboys from Hell. It's a 10 album. I'm ready for this.
All right. I guess I'll start off once again. All right, top 5 Megadeth albums. My number 5 is going to actually be their debut, Killing Is My Business, and Business Is Good.
Nice.
Yeah, Dave Mustaine had just been kicked out of Metallica, and he was hungry and out for blood. So he got together with David Ellison on bass, Chris Poland on second guitar, and Gar Samuelson on drums, and released this killer album. It's very, very aggressive and just very violent and just very, very angry. It's kind of hard to understand what Dave Mustaine's saying a lot of the times. He just sounds so pissed off. And, it's very, very raw and just very no holds barred. And yeah, I just love the angriness and the aggression of this album. And he hardly ever plays these songs live, if at all. As far as I know, I saw them live a few years ago. I'm pretty sure he didn't play any songs from this album. I don't think he has in a while. But yeah, it's a great album. It's not my favorite, but I think it's definitely up there. It's got some great songs. Of course, Last Rites opens with that awesome piano intro, and it just gets heavier and heavier. And then he has that wow, that scream at the beginning. I love that opening guitar riff. Yeah, really, really violent, evil lyrics, and some really interesting riffs and solos, courtesy of Dave and Chris Poland. I think Chris Poland's probably my second favorite guitarist they've ever had. You have the title track, Skull Beneath the Skin, Rattlehead, Mechanics, which is was also recorded by Metallica under the name of the Four Horsemen. That was one of the songs that Dave wrote, and of course they rewrote the lyrics on the Kill 'Em All album as the Four Horsemen. So it's interesting. There's 2 different versions of the same song that exist, one by Metallica and one by Megadeth. And I do prefer the Four Horsemen. I prefer the Metallica's version, but Mechanics is great too. And yeah, it's a very very ferocious, very fierce, venomous album. It's definitely a thrash metal classic, and definitely gets you hooked right away. It's off to a great start.
Indeed.
Thank you, Lee.
I will say, for me personally, this was tougher than the Metallica top 5 for me. When it came to our Metallica, it was just the first 5 albums. Megadeth has a lot of good stuff. So it was hard. But first up for me, I'm going to go with. Yes, I'm going to go with So Far, So Good, So What as
Nice.
mine. I think it's a really underrated album. I mean, the opening track, Into the Lungs of Hell, Set the World Afire. Obviously, a fan favorite with In My Darkest Hour.
Yeah.
In my hour of need, you were not there. Good stuff. Hook in Mouth. It's just a really good album. Love well. Yeah. I know a lot of people don't care for Mustang's vocals, but I dig them. I think they fit Megadeth.
True.
So
Very
far.
distinct.
Oh, yeah.
In My Darkest Hour is a great song, and Jeff Young was a great guitarist. That was the only album that he played guitar on. I think they had a pretty cool lineup, a one-time lineup, because Al Pitrelli on drums. That was his only album with the band too. So he definitely underrated, like you said.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna throw you guys for a loop on this one. I'm pretty sure no one expects this one from me. Endgame.
I'm sorry, it was Chuck
Right.
Beeler on drums, not Al Pitrelli. Sorry, Chuck Beeler. My mistake.
Endgame.
Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to say that before somebody corrected me in the chat.
You know how you get called out on these things.
Yeah, exactly. Chuck Beeler on drums, no.
But yeah, I felt like Endgame was a really strong return to form for the band. It got real heavy, real thrashy again. I was like, damn, like this, he's not playing around. And this was even before they got Dave Ellison back in the band. Like, it was just him and some other random dudes, but this album just kicks ass. Like, guitar solos are insane. It's super heavy, super thrashy. I love the title track, Head Crusher,
Mm-hmm.
This was the first time I felt like they were really back on the top of their game. And then they got Dave Ellison back, and it was great. They went on tour. He came back for that tour, and then of course they did the Big Four shows, and to me that was like Megadeth really coming back strong,
True.
So yeah, I have a lot of good memories of that one. I just think it kicks ass.
Nice.
He proved that they could still do it with the best of them,
Yeah, it was a pretty good return to form.
Great pick, Sean. Love that one.
Clash of reality.
Yeah, Al Pitrelli was one of the guitarists they had later, like on the World Needs a Hero. And after the great Marty Friedman left.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's too bad. I wish they could get him back,
Me too. He was by far my favorite guitarist they ever had.
I guess he's just not as into thrash metal,
Yeah.
That's what.
Want to do other stuff.
Yeah. But he was so good at it. It's like,
for sure.
That dude could rip a solo, boy.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Phenomenal. Which brings me to my number 4 choice, Countdown to Extinction, which of course features the great Marty Friedman. and Nick Menzo on drums. This is my favorite Megadeth lineup. I love when they had Marty and Nick. I think it's kind of an underrated album too. I don't think it really gets the praise that it deserves often. I think there's a lot of great songs. Skin of My Teeth, Symphony of Destruction is a classic. That's a really fun song to play on guitar. There's a really iconic riff.
Yeah.
Architecture of Aggression, Foreclosure of a Dream, Sweating Bullets, of course, is a fan favorite. When they played that live, when I saw them, everybody was singing along with it. It was really awesome. The title track, which I think is really underrated. I really, really like that song. I really like the melody of especially the verse. Ashes in Your Mouth is a really good song. Yeah, it's just a great album, and I think it should definitely be talked about a little more because, like I said, I don't think it quite gets the recognition that it deserves. I think it's just as good as some of their more well-liked efforts. I think it definitely belongs among their best for sure.
But it's probably the most commercially successful album.
Yeah, probably, yeah. You just can't go wrong with Marty Friedman.
Like before the Black Album came out, thing was getting strong airplay on MTV.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember.
Of course, the Black Album came and wiped it off the planet.
Yeah. Yeah, gosh, yeah, when that came out, it just took over. Just erased everything else from existence.
Bastards.
Yeah. Because I like Countdown to Extinction better than the Black Album.
Yeah.
Most
it's
likely.
way like thrashier. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
it's still metal as hell.
Exactly. Black Album's more like hard rock. Countdown to Extinction is undeniably thrash metal.
Great pick though. Excellent
Thanks.
album. Number 4 for me. Sean, you're not gonna fucking believe this. My number 4 is
nice.
Yeah, when you said Endgame, I was like, I know. Because this album, when I first heard it, I was genuinely like, "Ow, that's heavy."
Yeah.
This Day Fight, 44 minutes, Bite the Hand, story. This is a damn good album. And, I feel like a lot of people don't really give later Megadeth a chance. They should, because they put out hidden gems like this album.
Right.
Yeah. This album was freaking so many heavy riffs. And Dave sounded great on the album, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I thought Endgame was highly underrated.
You have that rough, like, snarling vocals in it.
Yeah.
It's 8:30 p.m.
That's like when he's at his best, I think. He's got that kind of attitude that's snarling, like,
Yep.
graspy.
I love the song Bodies and the title track. It's just such good, heavy stuff.
Oh, yeah. So my number 4 is gonna be So Far So Good So What. Yeah, excellent album. Like you said, highly underrated. Yeah, Set the World Afire, great song.
Yeah,
In My Darkest Hours is absolute classic. I mean,
definitely.
and Hook in Mouth is awesome. I love the double bass work on that song too. It really stands out.
Definitely.
Super heavy. That's one of my favorite songs.
It's badass. Yeah, I was always fascinated with Megadeth's album covers because just like that's a cool look. I love Vic Rattlehead.
Cool character too.
Yeah, I feel like not too many bands these days have a mascot of some kind.
Yeah. He's like their Eddie, like
Yeah.
Iron Maiden with Eddie. As they bring him out too on the stage as the big giant Vic guy.
Yeah.
All right, I'm back. I was in the other room, but I was still listening. You said so far so good, so what? And Vic Rattlehead is an awesome mascot. He's my second favorite metal mascot, next to, of course, Eddie from Iron Maiden.
Right.
I'd love to see Eddie fight Vic Rattlehead. Be interesting to see who would win.
Battle of the metal mascots.
Yeah. Yeah, so far so good. So what's a great album. I'm glad that you guys both had that one on your list. I almost picked that one. It'd probably be my number 6, very very likely, but it almost made my top 5. It's very close. It is a great album, and it's cool. It's the only one with Jeff Young on guitar and Chuck Beeler on drums, and I think it's a very interesting lineup. I think they did a great job. It'd be interesting to hear if. Interesting to see if they would have did a little more with the band. But then again, we had Marty Friedman and Nick Menza after that.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much, it's hard to compete with that.
That's such a strong lineup. That's tough to beat, yeah.
Indeed, yeah. And most of the ones on my list have that lineup, such as my number 3 choice, Euthanasia.
Nice.
I think this is a pretty underrated album too.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of great songs. Reckoning Day, the opening track is awesome. I love that opening riff. So heavy. Marty Friedman's leads are just incredible. I think Dave Mustaine's vocals were actually starting to improve a little bit too. He kind of had more of a melody to his voice. It was kind of more of like more singing than like opposed to like that snarl that he kind of had in the earlier albums. And I think his vocals got a little more soothing at this point. Reckoning Day is great. Train of Consequences, Tout Le Monde, of course, that's a fan favorite. That's a classic Megadeth staple. Elysian Fields, I think, is a great song. I love that chorus. It's so awesome. Killing Road. There's all kinds of great songs. And Vic Rattlehead's not on this cover, but he is on the back. So. So that's good. But it's a great album, and it was one of the first Megadeth albums I ever owned as well. And this is actually the original release. Most of the albums I have are the remastered reissues, and this is one of the original CD releases. But great album, very solid. Can't go wrong with Marty Friedman. His riffs and solos are just breathtaking. I love his leads with Mustaine. I thought they were a great guitar duo. They were just unmatched.
Number 3. We're on 3 now.
Yep.
Number 3 for me. Peace out. Fantastic album. This album, to me, was a big improvement over this album. Even though I still love this album, this is where Megadeth truly kicked in.
Oh, you got the original cover. The original Combat Records cover.
Yeah.
I've got the reissue cover.
I think they both look pretty badass.
Definitely.
But pretty much almost like every song on this album is fantastic. I mean, Wake Up Dead, that's classic. I love that song.
Right.
Conjuring, Peace Sells, Good Morning, Black Friday, Bad Omen. It's just such a good album, so catchy. Wake Up Dead is one of my favorite Megadeth songs to play on guitar, especially the dun 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 dun. Yeah. So good.
Obviously, the title track. This is absolute classic.
Peace sells, but
What do you mean I don't believe in God? Talk to him every day.
Truly awesome, kick-ass album.
What do you mean I don't pay my bills? What do you think I'm broke?
What do you mean I couldn't be the president of the United States of America?
Singing, you could pretty much sing "Wake Up Dead." I sneak in my own house. It's 4
4 in the morning.
I've had too much to drink.
Said I was out with the boys.
It's basically about if his wife catches him sneaking out at night, she's going to kill him. So, what a great songwriting. That's just genius.
It's just fun. It's funny how some everyday events can become a classic song.
Yeah. I like how some of his songs had kind of a humorous approach to them, kind of like Anthrax.
Yeah, true.
They didn't take themselves quite as seriously as, say, like Slayer.
Yeah.
At times they did. Yeah.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he definitely has a lot more deep, thought-provoking songs as well,
Yeah.
for sure. Some really intricate, really heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Meaningful
I feel
themes.
I feel like each band in the Big Four has that significant thing. You go to Anthrax for fun. You go to Slayer for brute force. You go to Megadeth technicality or whatever.
Mhm.
Metallica, classic. I don't know.
You go to Metallica to hear Lars's drumming.
Yes.
This songwriting is pretty deep too, pretty out there, pretty intense.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, they got technical really with the Justice.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
But Megadeth's always been that way, you know, real technical, real.
Definitely.
Freaking, I watched one of their concerts and I was like, these guys don't miss one single note on there. You know? Like you watch a Metallica concert, it's sloppy, they cut corners, you know.
Yeah.
Not Megadeth, you'll hear every single freaking note on every song.
Sure. I really wish I could have saw them with Marty.
Yeah.
And when I went and saw Megadeth, it was right after they kicked out David Ellefson. I was like, man,
That
man,
sucks.
I know. It's basically just, Dave Mustaine and, whatever musicians he can find. But they did have James Laminzo. He's probably my second favorite bassist that they've ever had, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Luckily, I did see them with that great lineup there with Marty Friedman and Nick
Really?
Menza during the
Wow.
cryptic writings. That was their last hurrah, kind of, right?
Nice. Yeah. I would have loved to have seen that. So what's your number 3 choice, Sean?
Peace sells, but who's buying? Of course, it's got to be
Nice.
on there. Yeah, awesome album, front to back. Not a bad song on there. Wake Up Dead, love that. Love the title track, is iconic. Yeah, like you said, I agree. This is where they really solidified their place in metal, you know.
Definitely.
Where the first one's kind of just very angry, trying to get back at Metallica. You know?
Yeah.
But this is a much more focused album, I think.
Absolutely.
It's just classic Megadeth, all the way. Full blown Megadeth.
And that's gonna be my number 2 choice. Peace sells, but who's buying?
Oh yeah.
Classic stuff. Yeah, so many iconic tracks. Yeah, Wake Up Dead, The Conjuring, the title track, Devil's Island. So it's all great, all killer, no filler. This is like as close to perfect as an album can possibly get. I think just a thrash metal masterpiece. I never get sick of any of the songs here. I never skip over any of them.
Nice. You get the vinyl. You probably have all of them, don't you?
Too much. But yeah, it's an amazing album. I really like this lineup as well. It's the same lineup that they had in the first album. Chris Poland on guitar and Gar Samuelson's on drums. Rest in peace. They had kind of more of a jazz background, which I think kind of made Megadeth sound a little more unique among thrash metal. They definitely brought a very distinct, very intricate style of playing that really added to Megadeth's sound and made them stand out for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, great album. Absolutely love it.
Hells yeah. So for me, this is the most nostalgic albums for me. It almost was my number 1 because, God, I love this fucking album. That's going to be Euthanasia.
Nice.
This album is just so freaking good to me, so underrated. The songs that stick out to me, I love the songs like The Killing Road, Blood of Heroes, Addicted to Chaos. Love that. Black Curtains, Train to Consequences, Atul Aman. Yeah. To me, this is damn near tied with my favorite Megadeth album. Super important to me. A lot of great memories with it. And yeah, it's one that I play and just want to keep replaying. Love it.
Yeah,
definitely way prefer that version of Atul Aman as opposed to the one.
Yeah.
What album was that with?
United Abominations.
Yeah,
with Christina Scabia from Lacuna Coil.
Yeah, I didn't like that one.
It was on United Abominations.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that version as much either. So what's your number 2 going to be, Sean?
I'm going Countdown to Extinction.
Nice.
I love that album. I love it. I love every song on that album.
Same.
Skin on My Teeth, that's great. Sweating Bullets. Even some of the songs people don't really know that well, like High Speed Dirt, very energetic. Psychotron, freaking love that song. Makes me think of the Terminator.
Yeah.
Psychotron, you hear the psst, the robot.
How's it going, Big K?
Obviously, super heavy one is Architecture of Aggression. Ooh, that's heavy, boy. Ashes in Your Mouth, that's heavy as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, Al. Every song's awesome. Even I love the title track too, Countdown Extinction.
Title track's great.
And yeah, of course, I mean
Mortal man.
So classic.
Put him in control.
Just let the piper
lead rats through the streets.
So
Classic.
Awesome. Well, the bass too on that song too is great.
Oh yeah, definitely. The bass line on He Sells is great as well.
Yeah.
So iconic.
Great bass player, Dave Ellison.
Oh yeah, he's great.
It's a shame what happened, you know.
Yeah, it really
Makes me
sucks.
sad.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe one day they'll make up,
Hopefully. I think he said he
people
would.
have already kind of forgotten that. I mean, what
Yeah.
happened? It's messed up, kind of, but I think we could give him another chance. Come on.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, super solid album. Excellent from front to back. It may
Most
be
definitely.
probably more polished than, say, the others, but it still kicks ass.
Definitely.
For sure. All right, so my number one is, of course, going to be Rust in Peace.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Great album. It's a thrash metal classic. One of the
Masterpiece.
best thrash metal albums ever. One of the best metal albums in general. Yeah, so many great songs. Holy Wars, Hangar 18, Take No Prisoners, Five Magics, Tornado of Souls, Dawn Patrol, the title track. It's all killer, no filler. It's just a magnificent album. It was the first to feature Marty Friedman and Nick Menza, and boy, did they do an amazing job. Yeah, Marty's riffs and solos are just nothing short of incredible. Nick Menza's drumming is on point. Just one of my favorite lineups in music history. I really wish they could have stuck with that lineup. Though Nick Menza, of course, passed away. Rest in peace. But just a fantastic album. Absolutely love it.
Hell yeah.
Solid 10 out of 10.
Masterpiece.
Absolutely.
Number one for me. I mean, hell, take your pick. Risk or Super
Oh, God.
No. Number one.
Gotta be doing that.
Rust in Peace, without a doubt. Classic. Every song of the album. Hangar 18, Take No Prisoners, Five Magics. Love that song.
Master.
Tornado. Everyone that has one of the best solos ever. The Tornado of Souls solo is fantastic. Hangar 18. I've had with that song for years, man. It's just welcome to a fortress that is so great. I love the music video. Holy Wars, The Punishment Due. Of course, you have the music video where everyone's shirtless for some reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like you said, without a doubt, the best lineup in my opinion. Dave was David Ellison and Marty Friedman. That's a lineup right there. That's fantastic. So, yeah. What can you say? Rust in peace.
Hell yeah.
Action.
Let's just round it up, baby.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Hell
Freaking masterpiece. One of my favorite albums ever, like Hellhound says. Absolutely perfect. It's a 10 out of 10 masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
God damn this album, It's so heavy, it's so fast. It's incredibly fast.
Yeah.
It's just firing on all cylinders, 100% Megadeth, all the way perfect, You do everything right. It's perfectly produced, perfectly played, so technical, so heavy, so fast. Hangar 18 is my favorite metal song. I don't know if I told you guys that.
Oh, hell yeah.
Nice.
Nothing gets me more hyped than that end when they do the dueling guitar solos. Like, hell yeah. I get so hyped,
It's killer.
I want to just throw shit. Trash the house. So intense. And of course, yeah. I love the final track too. I think is super heavy too. Holy Wars, The Punishment Due is a great song. And Rest in Peace, Polaris. Awesome.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
great.
every song is awesome. You know, Five Magics, Tornado Souls, like you said, that guitar solo. I like Lucretia is great too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Even the bass track, Dawn Patrol. I love that.
Same here.
Pretty cool.
But that, you know, that 1-2 punch at the beginning, Holy Wars and Hangar 18 is the ultimate for me. Nothing can beat that. When I see him in concert, I'm like losing my freaking mind. Yeah.
Yeah, I went nuts when I saw them.
Yep. I do have a few honorable mentions before we go. If you guys have any too, we can go through them. Of course, Killing Is My Business. Business is good. Really good debut album.
Yeah.
Killer stuff. Countdown to Extinction. I hate that I didn't add this one, but they got so many good albums. So Countdown. Even Cryptic Writings. I like a lot on this album.
Underrated.
It's solid for sure.
She-Wolf is one of my favorite tracks on the album. Fucking United Abominations is a killer record. Even that Hidden Treasures album with songs like Go to Hell or Diadems. I love that stuff.
I love Go to Hell.
Dude. Diadems was on the, I think it was Demon Knight soundtrack. Pretty sure. Yeah. I think that was the first time I heard it. It was in that movie. It plays during the end credits.
Go to Hell's from the Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Best thing about that movie.
Yeah.
Does anyone like the song Return to Hangar from this album? Anyone remember Return to Hangar?
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, I dig it.
The world needs a hero.
There's another great song on that album. I'm trying to think of the.
I kind of like Moto Psycho and Burning Bridges. I think those are good songs from that album. Oh, yeah, well, it's a great stream, you guys. A lot of fun. I loved hearing your choices. Thanks everybody who joined us here in the Morbid Hour live stream here in the Horror and Metal channel. And, as always, until next time.
Another kick-ass stream. Peace out, guys.
Sir,
Peace.
have a good night.
Have a great night.
Cheers.